So this project is going to demonstrate how to make a mold for the rifle rest. So the rifle rest consists of 4 different castings. So I'm going to show you how to make the casting for the top part of the rifle rest. But each piece will be made the same way with just different match plates and different size flasks. So the top part of the rifle rest has 2 sides bolted to it made out of band iron and a long all thread screwed up into it, but we're just going to make the casting part. Now the casting is made from molten steel or aluminum, and what we're going to have to do is melt down scrap aluminum until it's liquid and pour it into some type of mold. So this process is going to be how we make the mold. So first of all, we want to put some parting compound down on the mold so that the pattern slides apart real easy from the sand. So the easiest way to put the parting compound there is just take a rag, put a pile of parting compound in the middle of it, pull all 4 corners of the rag up, put a rubber band or something around it to hold it. Not real tight, you want to be able to move around in there. And we're going to just dust the pattern. We don't want to dump the parting compound there, we just want to dust it on there. Okay, so now we need to take the flask and put the flask on that's going to hold the sand. Now there's 2 parts of a flask, a cope and a drag. They're pretty much the same thing, they're matched together, except the drag has the 2 pins sticking up out of it. So those pins have to go down onto the match plate, and there's holes in the match plate or notches that they can slide into there. So now the sand that's touching the pattern has to be really fine sand so that there's no cavities caught in between it. So we have to sift a fine layer of sand with a riddle over the pattern until it's covered. So just keep, shaking it side to side and sift all the big chunks out. Okay, once it's completely covered, then start scooping up, some bulk sand and putting it into the flask. Okay, once it's pretty full, we need to pack it down really good. So we're going to use a bench ram, and one side is called the peen end, and that's the side that has the taper on it. So that's for packing it around the sides and around the detail. Then the large round end or the butt end would be for packing your bulk area down. So pack it down tight, put some more sand in there, fill it back up to the top, pack it down again. You want it to be packed down to it's higher than the sides of the flask. Now be careful when you pack that down because the sand will fly all over the place. So I like to keep my hand in front of myself so that the sand doesn't, fly over and get my clothes all dirty. Now, just like you were smoothing out concrete, you're going to take a skew board or a piece of metal, band iron, and smooth off the top so it's nice and smooth. Now when we're done, we're going to put a bottom board on top of everything. Now the reason why it's called a bottom board is because we're going to flip the match plate and the bottom board over, so now the flask is upside down and now the bottom board is on the bottom. Now the bottom board has a couple furring strips nailed to the bottom of it, so when you put it down on a flat surface, it's easy to get your fingers underneath it to pick it back up. So put the cope part of the flask on top, a little bit of parting compound, put a fine layer of sand on top of the match plate using the sifter or the riddle. Sift a little bit of sand on top. Doesn't take a lot for this side because there's no detail on this side. Then start packing and piling in more sand with the scoop. Now it's real important to pack around the edges really good because that's what makes the sand push up against the side of the flask, so when you take it apart, the sand doesn't just fall out. So it has to be packed in against the sides pretty tight, and then pack the rest of it. So we're going to pack this side all the way till it's smooth at the top, higher than the sides of the flask, so we can smooth it out with a band iron again. Now, how hard do you pack it in? You have to pack it really tight so that the sand holds the shape of the pattern. You don't have to go overboard with it. It just has to be, packed pretty snug. But you have to hit it. You have to use some force. It has to be packed in pretty tight. But, you don't have to put 1,000 pounds of pressure on it. Just get it nice and tight. So you see the way it's set up. So on both sides of the match plate, we have the cope and the drag, and only one side has detail on our match plate. But if you had something that had a shape on both sides, and that's why you call it a match plate. So we're going to take the top part off, and it's real important when you take the pattern out, you got to tap it around to loosen it up a little bit. And it's important to use those drags, the pins on the drag, as like a guide to help make sure you're sliding straight up so that you don't mess up the pattern. Okay, now we need a sprue and a riser for a place for us to pour the molten aluminum down into the cavity. So a sprue cutter is basically a pipe that you push up through the sand, and it cuts the sprue hole where you're going to be pouring the molten metal down through. So poke one hole in there, clean it out with another smaller one, and then poke the other one in there. The second one's going to be called the riser. So as the molten metal's going down the sprue hole, the air has to come out through the riser, so it lets the air out. So when the aluminum fills up the cavity, it'll come up the riser, and you'll be able to tell that the cavity's completely full inside. Okay, now any loose sand around the edge of the sprue and the riser needs to be packed down, with your fingers lightly. Now the sprue and the riser need to be made so that they go down to the little gates that are made in the pattern. So it's a little channel that leads into the cavity where the casting is going to be. So the metal we're using for this is aluminum. So any type of scrap aluminum, we're going to put into a crucible and melt it down. You can tell, one way of telling something's aluminum if it does not stick to a magnet and there's no rust on it. So aluminum will not rust. It's a lot lighter than steel. It won't stick to a magnet. Any kind of scraps, it's usually a shinier metal. So we're going to start out with a bunch of scraps in the crucible. And we're going to put the crucible in the Foundry furnace. Now to light it, I just throw a paper towel in there that's on fire, and then I can turn the gas on, and it'll ignite the gas. And what's going to make it really hot is a blast of oxygen. So the blower needs to be turned on till it's roaring like a jet engine. Now to keep the heat inside, we're going to close the lid, and there will be a small place that we can put more metal in. So we're going to watch the crucible. Once the metal that's in there is melted, then there will be room for us to put some more pieces of metal in. So we have some ingots I made in the mold that we'll just drop down in there. Now you want to make sure you use more aluminum than you need, because you don't want to fill it like part way up and then you run out of aluminum and you have to start all over again. So once it's all melted, any little dirt that might have been in the aluminum or paint will float to the top because it's lighter than the aluminum, and it's considered a slag. So it's basically the the garbage. If there happened to be some steel or some kind of heavy metal in the aluminum, it'll sink to the bottom of the crucible, and you'll find it in the bottom when you're all done. So we're going to pour the molten aluminum down the sprue hole. Now the Petrobond sand we're using to make the mold has motor oil in it, so that motor oil is holding everything together, so it's going to catch on fire and smoke quite a bit. So keep pouring it in there constantly until you see it come up the riser hole. Then any excess metal can be poured into ingot molds and used on the next project. Okay, once it's cooled off, you can take it apart, and then the sand just gets busted apart because you only can use it one time. So you just bust the sand apart around it, and the casting will be the shape of the pattern that we had. So once you get as much of the sand off there as you can, any little bits of sand, you just kind of drop it on the floor one time, and it'll, knock all the sand off. So that was how we made the top part of the casting. The bottom part, the adjusting wheel, the locking knob, is the same process as making the top piece, but you just use different match plates. The nice thing about this project, if we mess it up, we just melt it down and do it all over again.